Now that we have learned about motion blocks and event blocks, we can also create control blocks. First, I want to start by making a new sprite, searching for a sprite that is an apple or anything that you'd like of your choosing. And we want to make this apple fall when we press the green flag. We're going to start with the green flag clicked button. And then we're going to take the motion block. We're going to use a go to XY. And the X is going to be 0 because we want it in the center of our screen. And then the Y is going to be positive 180 because that is the top of our screen. That places the apple at the top of our screen. We also want to have the apple move down continuously. To do this, we're going to use control blocks. Control blocks are orange, and they control our game in various different ways. Most notably, they use the repeat loop or a forever loop. These blocks are special because they will take code that is inside of the block, and they will continually repeat that code, either forever or a certain amount of time, for as long as the code is active. If we were to put a motion block of change y by a negative number, and repeat this 10 times, when we click our green flag, our apple will move for a certain amount of time. We could repeat this 100 times, and it will eventually move down 100 points. Now, we want the apple to continuously fall, so instead of using repeat, we're going to go ahead and use forever. We want to forever change our y by -1. This means that our apple is slowly falling down to the ground. Great. We can speed this up by changing the value of y. And when we start it over again, you can see the apple moves faster. But of course, the apple gets to the bottom and it needs to restart up at the top. To do that, we need to check to see when the apple hits the bottom. And that's a control block called if. If is considered a conditional statement. It will check to see if a certain condition is being met, then run a different set of code. In our case, we need to check to see if the y value has reached the bottom, which is around -180. Along with these ifs, there are operators. Operators are green blocks, and they allow us to do mathematical operations, such as plus, minus, multiply, and divide. They'll also allow us to randomly pick numbers, check to see if there is a greater or less than or equal, as well as and, or, etc. In our case, since we're trying to check to see if the y position is less than the bottom of the stage, which is -180, then we want to place it back to the top. We're going to go ahead and grab this operator that says less than. And then on the right side of this, say less than -180, because that is the bottom of our stage. Now we just need to grab the y position. Underneath the motion blocks, there is a y position that will actually provide the current y position of the sprite when we are checking. It is round and it can fit inside of the operator block. If the y position is less than -180, then return it to the top. I can go ahead and duplicate this and place it. And then we always want to check if this is true. Since we always want to do it, we'll also place it inside of our forever loop. This causes the apple to fall, and then when it reaches the bottom, it checks if its y position has reached the bottom, and if so, then bring it to the top. Now that's pretty exciting, but we can also make this a little more interesting by having the apple fall from different places. To do that, we're going to use a different operator called pick random. Pick random will provide a number anywhere between the first number and the second number provided in the block. Since we want to randomly place this apple anywhere left or right on the screen, we can go ahead and plug in negative 240 for the left side of our screen and positive 240 for the right side of our screen. We can then place that inside of our GoToX and our GoToXY block, and every time we press the green flag, it will appear in a different left to right position on the screen. We can also duplicate that and place it inside of our conditional if statement in the GoToX spot as well. The result of this is that we now have an apple that falls, and every time it gets to the bottom, it randomly resets to the top of the screen, but in a random left to right position. If you have been able to complete the code on the apple, and you also have the code for the bowl, you should end up with a catching apple game that allows you to move the bowl left and right as the apple drops from the sky. We'll continue to work on this game and improve the functionality in the next videos.